Now let's continue and finish off the exterior geometry of our environment. And what I'm doing here, I'm just going back and just putting a little simpler um, columns. So I don't like the way it looked. So now I'm going to be creating a little ledge in front. It's going to be a little staircase, a stairway going down, a few steps going down to a little lookout area, and it's going to overlook a cliff. So now it's also right under this little big building. We're going to have it's going to go into terrain. It's going to be on top of the mountain. So we're going to overlook this huge cliff, looking down. So now I'm just taking all the geometry from the building and just extending it down, creating support and platform for it to where the displacement map, the terrain, is going to go. So as you can see, it's not anything hard. Yeah, you begin to expand from where you started building, and you just kind of expand out and start creating new environments. Here I am going to create a building, a second building off to the side. And I'm just making sure that the scale and the mass of the space that I'm creating is what I like. Making sure that I keep the scale up, similar to what I've been doing before. It's going to be a two-story place. And once I have this building blocked in, the rest of the area is going to be terrain. So it's more of pretty much the same thing that I've been doing before. I'm just taking the brushes, duplicating, moving them over, testing the scale, creating columns back and forth. So you got a sense of the workflow of how this environment came together. Always working on the grid, either 8 or 16, making sure that everything snaps, that all geometry snaps to each other, that there will not be any leaks, any holes that I will not be able to see. That's why it's important to be on the grid and snap into the grid all the time. Here I'm just shift dragging and creating the columns for that building, and now I'm going to be creating a little ledge in front with a little bit of stairs coming down. It's important to add a little variety when you have reference. Just making sure you pay attention to the reference as you create new environments, and include little ledges, include where walls go into each other and create indentations. It creates a very interesting play of light. So when you begin to light, and you see it, how how the shadows will fall onto the building and onto the walls. So you always want to keep that in mind when you create new environments. How will the light play. How will something affect itself? And it'll just make your environments a little more. That'll make your environment stand out more so. So, and also knowing what kind of light situation you want for your environment. So here I'm just testing to see if I need to expand that little area out, and I'm just now I'm moving on to creating the rooftop. Right now I'm creating a little overhang for the building, and now I'm creating the roof. Creating a little overhang for the roof, which will one, it's in the reference, and two, it'll create very interesting shadow play of light onto the building. So the building is mainly, for the most part, is blocked off, and I really like how everything has come so far. And for that lower area, I'm going to be creating a terrain in a later tutorial to show you how terrain is built to block off the player area, and so the player won't be able to go past that. There's going to be little cliffs going up. And we are almost done with this part of the tutorial. So you've got to see how the interior came together and how I expanded into exterior, and so that's how I pretty much this is how my workflow goes from interior space, and I begin kind of build up on it and expand from a single room, a single location, and just gonna expand out into a full-fledged environment.